Brigades youngster in Lucas Ronan gets the ball up towards half forward, looking up there for Caden Dan. Caden Dan gets boot the ball, goes cry across the face of goal. Picked up now towards the Rovers player in Kobe Bursell. He couldn't pick it up. In goes Brigades. Brigades player has the ball and gives the ball away, and it goes the way of Brennan. Brennan gets it up towards centre wing, and all of a sudden we see back with the player in Bursell. Bursell for Rovers, kicks it forward. Ball goes through the Brigades player's hands. Rovers trying to get ball forward through Dwayne Neville. Comes back towards Brigades, and Brigades are out of trouble. And you're on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL footy. Glenn Barton and Pete Forenza. And Peter, Brigades have the ball now on the half-back line.
They certainly do. They send it down the line, and they find Ronan at centre wing, right in front of a broadcast position for Radio Mama, Radio Gerald, and he sends it inboard now. The ball's fisted away, going to ground, and the Brigades custodian, first in the race, jumps on top of the ball. That's Ned Osborne, and the umpire says no prior opportunity. Umpire Starling retrieves the piece of leather. Off to a quick start here at Greenock Oval here this afternoon. Daimler Truck Oval going the way of Dent now for Rovers. Nice little chip kick. Only goes down the throat of his opposite number there in Dylan Ralph. Dylan Ralph probably one of the favourites for the Clune medal this season. He sends it inboard. Brigade still into attack. They send it down the middle, but there's Simpson. Simpson tries to be a little bit too cute on this occasion. One would have thought he went wide, but eventually Rovers do get the ball. The ball's with Kane Simpson now. Gee, Rovers all at sea at the moment, not really having much direction in their play. Simpson could have came down the wing, but he lets go of the ball. Quickly mopped up by his brother Kobe. Sends it laterally now on the far side. Rovers still have it. Down the line they go through the guys of now Jamin Alone. Jamin Alone playing in the middle. Glenn was unsure whether he'd play in the middle today, but he certainly is. But that kick from him under duress puts it to the outer side, and it's Brigades who have it through Breen. Breen sends it back in now on the far side of the wide expanses of Daimler Truck Oval here this afternoon. Rovers have it through Denton. He sends it into space, going one way then the other. Rovers still have it, or do they? Breen loses control, is caught in possession, one would think. The umpire doesn't agree with me. The ball will come back and will be thrown in. I think it's a free kick going the way of Rovers, they agreed. So Rovers have a free kick on the half-forward flank, Glenn.
Farron Parfitt is the player, gets the ball up towards the scoreboard side of the ground, into the scoreboard pocket. In goes Alone, working hard, feeds it out to a teammate. Rovers still have an opportunity, ball within 15 metres of goal, but Brigades are there. Once again, the man of the moment in Dylan Ralph, who's picked up a lot of possessions early, kicks the ball forward, but a good strong mark taken by Rovers. And the Rovers player, Jack Eastoft, who's certainly been a big inclusion into the Rovers side. He did play periodically last year when he didn't have games to the West Coast Waffle side. He's playing for Rovers exclusively this year and certainly playing good footy. Ball goes towards the boundary line. And once again, there will be a boundary throw in deep in the left forward pocket. Now the umpire said ball was still in play. And the umpire now is letting the ball go back. And Brigades will have a kick out of defence. So Brigades have the ball now. They bring the ball inwards, and they find a player there in Kyle Hams. Hams gets the ball forward. He gets it out now to the Rovers player, working hard. Eastoft's there. He's tackled, thrown to the ground. Umpire says, give it to me, boys. No, giving it plenty of opportunity for the ball to spill out. And once again, a pack develops, and umpire will have to come in and throw the ball up. In fact, the ball goes out of bounds. So that took a little bit of time to get towards the boundary line. And, of course, the Sandra Carr MLC umpires for the GNFL this afternoon. Umpires Stephen Pratt, Darren Forrester and Randall Starling doing the job for the GNFL umpires this afternoon, and Sandra Carr MLC. Ball to come back, and the boundary umpire to put the ball back into play.
This quarter brought to you by Community Bank Geraldton. The ball just in front of our broadcast position for Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. In goes Big Ruckman for Brigades, who brings it to ground. And at the base of the pack, the ball's with Ronan. Ronan is tackled a little bit too high. So had a good campaign down at Country Week in the CBH Colts competition. One of the better players, but they all played well. So that sort of means you don't need to narrow it down. The ball goes laterally now across the face of goal. Gabriel Parfitt, a nice kick out to the wing. And they're away through the guys of Clay Azevedo. Azevedo, a kick down further afield. He finds Alone. Alone evades his opponent. He sends it inside the corridor. But it's only just that player Ronan again, who's racking up kicks this afternoon for Brigades. He ricochets the ball back to whence it came.
And the Rovers player's taken the mark. So It's kick to kick at the moment, and
like
Rovers
tennis,
have the ball.
isn't
It is. So Rovers have it. Gabriel Parfitt is that player. The captain kicks the ball into towards the forward pocket, looking there for Josh Simpson. But the umpire had good view of that. Umpire Starling said you pushed him in the back, and Jesse Castleton will get the free kick in the back pocket at the airport end. So Rovers are kicking to the airport end in this quarter. Brigades are kicking to the city end. Ball comes forward. It goes back to the Rovers player. And once again, it's Clay Azevedo with the ball. Clay is about 50 metres out.
He's got to be kicked, this fella, too, Glenn.
He certainly has. Beautiful conditions for footy. Breeze blowing at his shoulder across the ground.
It's about a 2 to 3 goal breeze looking at the windsock
So
here.
Clay Azevedo with the ball. Both sides feeling each other out this morning and this afternoon. And, of course, we're playing at Greenough's Daimler Truck Greenough Oval. And a big round of fixtures today. We'll run you through those other games in just a moment as Clay Azevedo shoots on goal. Looks pretty good off the boot. Won't make the distance. Off hands. 1 point only. And on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard, Rovers get the first score of the afternoon. And we've played 7 minutes on the S Trent Communication time board this morning, or this afternoon. Used to saying morning because we were playing Country Week in the morning. And now we're playing local footy in the afternoon. Brigades to take the pressure off. Once again, Ronan gets the ball in towards the centre, and it goes the way of Jesse Castleton.
Castleton plays on now down the corridor. They get something happening here as it goes away now of Ahmad Watkins. Ahmad Watkins puts it into space. Running onto it is James Hagan. What can he do? He was good in the country championships too. He fumbles with the ball though, and going in is Kobe Simpson that ensures he doesn't get too far with it and bottles it up. Rovers have it now coming out of defence. Going the way of Bursell now. Sends it down the line. Rovers have it through Denton. Denton at centre wing. He goes inboard now, and there is that player in Easthoff. Easthoff, a nice little chip pass. He finds this player in Simpson. Simpson in turn sends it further afield to Simpson. A Simplex here as he sends it inboard, and a nice mark is taken by Azevedo. No, he dropped it in the fine on analysis, but it goes forward through the Demons. They're going to go from here. Farron Parfitt doesn't let his side down. That was almost a comedy of errors, but the Demons mopped up well and scored the first goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, Farron Parfitt gets the first goal for the Demons this afternoon. Bo Simpson seemed to cop one a little bit high there, and he's just going off with the trainers to have an assessment. So Rovers get the first of the afternoon, and it's taken 8.5 minutes on the S Trent Communications scoreboard. So good to see Farron Parfitt in good form this year. He's working hard, getting a lot of the ball and finishing well. And it is round 12 of the GNFL Community Bank Premiership season with thanks to Midwest Wind Farms. And in other games today, we'll keep you up to date as the quarters unfold. At Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground, third place Railways hosting the bottom place Mullawar. And Railways have been on fire there today. They won the Colts by 127. They defeated Mullawar by 146 in the reserves, and they start favourites, of course, in the league game. Out there at Percher International Oval at Northampton. Chapman Valley away to a good start. They won the Colts, they won the reserves, and they've won the women as well. Ball thrown up, goes the way of Brigades, comes back to Daniel Leach. Daniel Leach gets it forward, looking there for Lucas Ronan. Ronan kicks the ball up towards half forward. Rovers' defence is good. Ball slapped forward by Trent Simpson. Tristan Simpson, that is. Tristan gets it forward, up towards the centre of the ground, and umpire Pratt will come in and throw the ball up. Gabriel Parfitt and Daniel Leach were holding each other. Umpire said nothing in that. So the ball will be thrown up almost in the centre of Daimler Tuck Greenough Oval. Beautiful conditions for football today following the big downpour yesterday afternoon.
It was a big downpour
yesterday.
Indeed.
Of course, the ground still pretty heavy underfoot after all that rain. About 70 mils fell here at the Greenough Oval. Ball comes the way now of Lucas Ronan. Wouldn't mind $1 for every kick he gets this afternoon. Gets it forward, up towards half forward. A player there for Rovers didn't seem to have eyes for the ball, but luck's of fortune. It comes back towards Tazewell, gets it up the ground, looking for a teammate, and the Rovers player has seen the ball across the boundary line. On the half-forward line, the player there who almost took a good mark was Jason Daniels. So the ball to be thrown back into play.
Almost a slips catch there, Glenn.
It almost was. Goes the way of Patrick. He slaps it to ground. Goes the way of Elby Dean. Dean's ball goes up towards centre wing, but Rovers have a chance now. Picked up by Dan. Dan couldn't control it. Picked up now by Brigades player and Kalani Barton, but the ball is going to go the way of a Rovers player now. The Rovers free kick will go the way of Tristan Simpson. Tristan Simpson on centre wing. In fact, it's not Tristan taking the kick. It's Jack Eastoff. And Jack Eastoff just in front of us on the Radio Mama broadcast box here on the Horwood Road side of Greenock Oval.
About his third or fourth kick in this quarter. Eastoff sends it further afield and finds Josh Simpson. Simpson spins around on a 50-cent piece, and that was a nice delivery by Simpson, and finds Jamin alone about 25 to 30 metres out from goal, directly in front. So Rovers have about a 2, maybe 3 goal breeze at gusts here this afternoon, and they've got the first score on the board. They lead 1-1-7, and Alone now will have another shot at goal. He doesn't miss too many, but I don't want to put the mocker on him. Alone has been out through injury for a few weeks leading into Country Week, but the kick from Alone is a good one. It's straight through the middle, and Jamin Alone has scored another goal for Rovers. They go to 2-1, and they lead Brigades yet to open their account.
There he is, the left footer, Jamin Alone, finishing that one off very well, as Peter mentioned. He doesn't miss too many. He didn't miss that one, and he's made it pretty easy for his side. 12 minutes gone in this first quarter, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. And Jamin Alone gets his first of the afternoon. So Rovers probably have got a 2-goal breeze at their back. So they've probably got value for the breeze at this time. But there's still a fair bit of this quarter to go.
The ball back in the middle now. Kane Simpson's getting caught a lot so far this afternoon. Will he break the shackles? He tends to make the wrong decision and go the wrong way. And I'm sure he'll work that out, because if he does start going the right way, he's going to burn a few players out here on the wing in front of us here this afternoon. Back in the middle now, players setting themselves. It's won by Big Patrick on this occasion for Brigades. Gets in the way now of the Dynamo and Daniel Leach, and they're away into attack now. Brigades, as it goes back the way now of, as I said, the favourites, the Clune medal, one of, and Dylan Ralph. He sends it into the half-forward area. It's picked up now by the player there who charges in toward goal, and that's Keegan Cross. And Keegan Cross finds the chest of a player there in Matt Watkins. Now, Matt Watkins, he's on a 45-degree angle, a little bit more than that, but he's only about 25 to 30 metres out, maybe a little bit closer.
He kicked 10 last week.
He certainly knows how to get a goal. That's why he's in the team, kicking toward the city or southern end of Greenock Oval. But it's going to go across the face. Is it going to drop short? No, going through for the minor score. So an errant kick, you could say, by a pretty good goal seek on this occasion, only going through for a point.
On the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard, Brigades are 1 behind. Rovers are 2-1. Ball to come out of defence from the Rovers defenders. Rover gets the ball here from Simpson. Goes the way of Roworth. Brad Roworth in the back pocket. Goes back towards Kobe Simpson. Kobe Simpson goes across the ground, goes towards the Afbury side of the ground. Looking out there for a teammate. Rovers player and Dan uses his strength. Whistle on play. Umpire says the ball is out of bounds. The boundary umpire says it's out of bounds. The boundary umpire will throw the ball in, and it's about 50 metres around from the left point post. Boundary umpire to put the ball back into play. Pretty entertaining start to this game. Hasn't reached great heights yet, but both sides working hard.
Yeah, filling each other out at the moment, you think, Len?
Ball picked up now by Brigades. They shoot on goal. Big kick goes forward and goes the way of the boundary line once again. And a good effort there from the Brigades player. Quickly get the ball forward. But the ball is out of bounds, deep in the pocket, but another opportunity for the Brigade side, deep in their forward 50. Boundary umpire puts the ball back into play. Plenty of players around the ball. Not a lot of room in there. Umpire Starling, one of the 3 umpires this afternoon, will come in and throw the ball up once more. A ball only 35 metres from goal. Ball to be thrown up. Umpire throws it up now. He backs out. Ball comes the way of Rovers. Ball smothered off the boot. In goes Rovers again. Ball comes out, goes towards the centre of the ground. But ball spills, picked up now by Alone. Alone goes to break a tackle. Took him on, and that's the new rule. And umpire says, no, you tried to take it on, and you were tackled. Clay Sipler is rewarded with a free kick. Clay Sipler, one of the Dower defenders for the Hawks side. Clay Sipler, premiership player with the Hawks, kicks it forward. And looking there for a teammate, but out comes the Rovers player in
Josh Simpson.
Simpson gets it away of Daniels. Daniels plays on now. Back towards Josh Simpson. He takes the mark. Went to play on. Umpire says, go back. He kicks it across the ground now. Looks the way of Owen Dan. Owen Dan goes out wide and finds Kane Simpson all on his own. Kane Simpson kicks it up towards half forward, looking there for Farron Parfitt. Farron Parfitt getting good pressure from AJ Valley. He'll certainly work him hard. Ball goes towards the boundary line. There'll be a boundary throw in about 30 metres south or to the city end of the ground here at Greenock.
In the recent games we've seen for Rovers, we haven't seen Owen Dan on the park then, but in the early stages of the season, in the first or second games that we've seen Rovers play, he was very, very good indeed. So
he's a class player.
He's back in the lineup today. Ball coming in just beside the scoreboard on the far side of Dame the Truck Oval here this afternoon, but it heads back that way again. Under the scoreboard, the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard, which reads Rovers 2-1. They lead Brigades just the 1 point. 16, nearly 17 minutes gone in this, the first term. So won't be much in time on, you'd think, then, because there hasn't been a score. But we're going to see a free kick. Is it going the way of Rovers? Oh, no. We just see the player.
Yeah, Rovers player getting a free kick.
Jamin alone. So I reckon he'll nail this one. He's on a on a tighter than 45-degree angle, and he's going to kick it short though. And well, I don't know what he was trying to do there, but it comes off hands and through for the minor score. But that corner, they often say, is a tough pocket to get goals from. But one Revis Ryder used to nail them from there a long time ago.
M&B Trade Centre scoreboard. Rovers are 2-2. They lead Brigades 1 behind. And it hasn't been a high-scoring affair. And Brigades would be pretty happy if they could keep Rovers to the score they've got as we head towards quarter time. But Rovers desperate to get another score. Ball goes deep into the forward pocket just below the scoreboard. So it's at a 12-point margin in favour of Rovers. 17 and almost 18 minutes gone in this first term, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. So the boundary umpire to put the ball back into play. And the big fellas will go at it. Chris Scott on the ground. He goes forward, slaps it towards the centre of the goal square. Brigades soccer it through Ronan. Comes the way of young Osborne. He feeds it out to a teammate, and that teammate gets a kick forward, and Jack Deschamps. And Brigades have an opportunity. Can they get one on the rebound? Ball's on the half-back line. Tristan Simpson's there. Tristan goes the way of Bradley Roworth.
Clear up.
Roworth on centre wing, short pass, finds Tommy Denton. Tom Denton on half forward, kicks it towards full forward, beautiful kick, and he's picked out the hard-running player there in Gabriel Parfitt. And Gabriel Parfitt is marked 40 metres out, directly in front, kicking to the airport end.
Working brilliantly across the half-back line, Glenn.
Yes, been good defence this afternoon from both sides. So Gabriel Parfitt, and Gabriel hasn't kicked a goal this afternoon. And Gabriel lining up for his first of the day. There goes his kick. It fades away to the right-hand side. Pack into the air, off hands, 1 point only. And on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard, Rovers are 2-2. And they lead Brigades 1 behind.
You're listening to Radio Mumma, the home of GNFL football, also relaying on Radio Geraldton. And this first quarter brought to you by Community Bank Geraldton. The ball coming out of defence now. Brigades a little bit under siege, but as Glenn said, maybe Rovers not making hay while the sun shines. A bit of a 2 to 3 goal breeze at their back. Roworth has the ball now in front of us, or does he? Eventually gets it, goes backward now to Kobe Simpson. Simpson sends it over a couple of players and finds Eastoff. Rovers are away now through Brennan. Brennan straight into the guts of the field, and a free kick will go the way of Brennan because he was dealt with when he got rid of the ball. The little speedster will now have a free kick from just outside the forward 50. So I don't know whether that would be better to play on for Rovers because Denton was away, Glenn, but the ball will come back. So actually it's gone downfield. Yes, it has gone downfield. So who's got the ball now? So the ball is, with Owen Dan, isn't it?
Yep.
Owen Dan has it inboard. So Owen Dan will now have a shot on goal. He is directly in front, about 40 metres out. That's a big kick, but it's not straight enough, and through for the minor score. So Rovers keep peppering away late in the first term. Are they doing enough, Glenn?
Well, they are doing probably not quite enough on the scoreboard because we've seen the scoreboard tick over to 2-4, 2-3, 15 to Brigades 1 behind. And the ball comes back into play, and a whistle on play. We'll go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. Kirrily Wall, the member for Geraldton, shortly. We know the Mullera have just barely got 20 players. A lot of the league players played Colts and Rezzies, so they've only got 2 on the interchange bench this afternoon. And in the game up at Percher International Oval, Chapman Valley 2 goals 3, lead Northampton 1 goal 3. So a 6-point ball game up there at Percher. Ball goes the way of Dylan Ralph. He's getting a lot of the ball in this first quarter. Can Brigades get a goal late in this quarter? They desperately need one. Ball goes the way of Ned Osborne. He sees the ball towards the boundary line. A Brigades player slicks it out, but it goes only as far as a Rovers player. A Rovers player is caught high, or is he over the boundary line? And a whistle on play. A free kick has been given to the Rovers player. He's tackled high. So Rovers with the ball.
Is that Kobe Purcell?
There goes the kick forward, looking up there for the hard-working player in Josh Simpson. Ball comes back. Brigades have an opportunity again. Time may be running out for Brigades in Rovers in this quarter. Won't be a long quarter, as Peter mentioned. Only a couple of goals scored. Ball comes back into play. Goes the way of Brigades. Brigades trying to get that score on the board. Their first major of the afternoon. Ball comes back to Rovers. Daniels gives it back to the player there, and Tristan Simpson, who's been active. Tristan Simpson gets in the way of Owen Dan. Dan for Rovers, kicks it up towards centre wing, very close to the boundary line. Ball still in play, however. Rovers keep it in play. Centre it, goes the way of Brigades. Spills out, goes the way of Jack Deschamps. He gives it out towards Clay Sipler. Clay Sipler gives it away of LBD. Noah's Notes, Caden Dan. Caden Dan kicks the ball right on the siren. And that is quarter time on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard. Rovers with the breeze. Did okay, but didn't set the world on fire. Rovers are 2-4-16. They lead Brigades 1 goal straight. And you're tuned to Radio Mama, your home of GNFL football.
They're only a point.
What did I say, goal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad for you, but I feel bad for him and all the hell you gonna be putting him through. Probably tell him we're a burnt out flame. Probably tell him that I ain't been on your mind. I ain't nothing but a long gone thing. You can cuss my name, but baby, don't you lie. When you're tasting what he's drinking, are you thinking about me? When you're riding where he's driving, are you missing my street? Every time you close your eyes, tell me who do you see? When you're tasting what he's drinking, are you thinking about me? Coming over tonight, wish that truck in your drive was mine. It's like you know it's supposed to be. When you're up in his bed, am I up in your head? Make it
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix, macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory. Until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
of the GNFL Community Bank Premiership season, with thanks to Midwest Wind Farms, and with the current game of the day from Daimler Trucks Greenock Oval at quarter time. Rovers 2-4-16 lead Brigades 1 behind, so a 15-point margin in favour of the Rovers, the Demons side, and a very entertaining game of footy. Still a long way to go in this contest, and Rovers had first use of the breeze, which was favouring to some extent, blowing across the ground, but favouring the airport into a good portion. Our quarter-by-quarter summaries are with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton. For Rovers, their goal scorers, Farron Parfitt has one, Jamin Alone has one. Brigades yet to open their account. Our contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day. I'm looking after the Brigades' better players today. Lucas Ronan kept them in the game. He moved the ball out of defence well. So too did Jesse Castleton and Clay Sippler. So Brigades, their key players have been in defence. Others around the midfield doing well. Dylan Ralph has worked hard. He's got a lot of possessions. And Ned Osborne for his thoughts on the Rovers side in their first quarter. Pete Fiorenza.
Well, Glenn, they've been sharing it around a little bit, but those that have been racking up the most possessions include Denton in the middle of the ground. Simpson's been good. That is Tristan Simpson mopping up in defence. Gabriel Parfitt, Jack Eastoff, and I suppose Jamin Alone can be thrown into the mix as well.
Of course, as we go around the grounds, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrily War, up at Northampton at Percher International Oval. Chapman Valley 2-3-15, lead Northampton 1-3-9. And as soon as we have a score in from the game being played at the Recreation Ground, Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground, Railways are clear favourites in that contest after having a big start to the day with wins in the Colts and the reserves. Umpires this afternoon, with thanks to Sandra Carr, MLC, our GNFL umpires today, Steve Pratt, Darren Forrester and Randall Starling. Ball back in the centre with the very experienced Stephen Pratt putting the ball into the air. Ball comes the way of Rovers now, picked up by Josh Simpson. Goes the way of his teammate there in Blake Tazewell. And he gets caught up in the passage of play. And once again, good defence from the Brigades players to slow him down. Ball to go into the air again. Melissa Price, the federal member for Durack, is our sponsor in this term. And once again, a ball up. And umpire Pratt will throw the ball in. Daniel Leach returns the ball to umpire Pratt. 15 points the margin in favour of the Rovers side. Ball comes up, comes the way of Sean Brennan for the Demons. Sean Brennan screws the ball around the corner, looking there for a teammate, finds that player in Tom Denton. Tom Denton off half forward, kicks it deep into the forward pocket, but Brigades are there. In goes the hard player, working player in Harms, and the ball goes out of bounds, and once again a boundary throw in. First minute of play in the second term. And this term with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack.
As in the first term, Rovers first interval attack. We're going against about a 2 to 3 goal breeze at the moment, Glenn, as we see the ball is slapped down by Rovers on that occasion, and going to ground quickly. Snapped up, though, as he hit the deck was Tom Denton. The ball will be thrown up once again in front of the Rovers faithful here this afternoon. Glenn, big crowd in attendance, as you'd expect in this top-of-the-table clash.
Well, people have been looking forward to this game for a long time, so it's great to see people turning up in numbers. And, of course, the Rovers, their players have a players' reunion today, so a number of Rovers players coming back to the club to say hello and catch up, including a good friend of ours. And we'll talk to him perhaps as the season and the day goes on.
Dylan Ralph, the last to touch the ball there, and the ball had to be thrown in just down from our broadcast position for Radio Mama, and also relaying through Radio Geraldton. In it comes now. Not trying to knock down by the Rovers, Ruckman. He's up against his opposite number there, but nothing going in that as the ball goes to ground, and Daniel Leach is quickly mopped up as it goes back over the line. So at quarter time, it was just 1.2 Brigades. I haven't added to that to this point. It's only early stages of the second term, though. Rovers was 16, 2 goals, 4. Did they make the right use of the breeze? As the ball comes out in the middle through Brennan now, the little speedster. A beautiful kick into the full forward area. Should be marked by Azevedo. That's the second probably sitter that he's missed this afternoon, but probably trying just a little bit too hard. It will come. Azevedo, he looks like he's a player of note, can present something pretty special as the ball goes over the line now. Picked up by Tazewell with the lasso roll. Tazewell sends it inboard. Oh, gee, he didn't kick that high enough and intercepted on this occasion by Osborne. Osborne for the Hawks will switch play now. Well, he'll take off himself straight down the middle. Switches it back and finds a teammate there in Gus Osborne. So Osborne to Osborne, Ned to Gus, the two brothers coming back the way now of that player in Daniel Leach. He sends it inside the corridor. Could they get their first score on the board as a player spins around on a 50-cent piece? And it is Kalani Barton who shoots on goal, but he misses, Glenn, and through for the minor score. Put the mocker on him. On
the M&B Trades Centre scoreboard, Brigades are 2 behinds, Rovers are 2-4. So a 14-point margin here at Daimler Truck Greenock Oval.
Barton, I haven't seen much of him in recent years, but a premiership player with the Hawks.
Quarter time in the game at Red Darts Holdings Recreation Ground, round 10 of the GNFL Premiership season for Community Bank. And we can tell you Railways are away to a flyer. Railways are 9 goals straight to Mullawar, 1 behind. So a big start there for the Railway side.
Certainly is a big start, one you'd expect. Mullawar a low ebb at this point of the season. The ball going out. Ahmet Watkins has come right down the ground. And, in fact, he's further back out, I should say. He's going to kick it inboard. And he does so. Finds a teammate there who's equal to the task. That teammate there is James Hagan. We liked his game at Country Week. He was a star in one of them. And he certainly is a will-o'-the-wisp. And he will now shoot from...
Daniel Leach.
Gone back to Daniel Leach now. So Oswald Hagan back to Leach. He's in front of the homeless dog kennels this afternoon. That's a good kick by Leach. Yeah, it's a mighty kick by Leach, but still not straight enough. And alas, goes through again for the minor score. So Brigades peppering away, getting in their forward 50, but not getting good dividends.
Yeah, the Brigades scoreboard should be 3 points. And Rovers are 2 goals for, so a 13-point margin. Brigades peppering away, comes the way of Simpson, brings the ball in, goes the way now of Daniels, who's been a good pickup for the Demons this year. Jason Daniels gets it the way of his teammate there in Owen Dan. Owen Dan kicks it up the ground, looking there for Joshua Simpson. Josh Simpson slaps it forward, ball comes back, goes the way of Brigades. Breen cleverly gets the way of Castleton. Castleton kicks it up, and a beautiful mark under pressure from Dylan Ralph. Dylan Ralph breaks across centre wing, kicks it up towards half forward. Looking there for Hassan Ahmet Watkins. He hasn't got a handle on too many today. Rovers defenders doing well. Rovers player has the ball held to him, didn't have prior opportunity. Good pressure put on him by young Ned Osborne. And the umpire in Daniel Forrester, Darren Forrester, will come in and throw the ball up. So Forrester throws the ball into the air. Comes the way now of the player there in Dan. And Owen Dan has the ball held to him. And once again, umpire Forrester will throw the ball up. 2 goals for 16. Brigades are 3 behinds. Don't know what's wrong with those numbers up there. They look pretty small. The ball comes the way of Brigades now, and they feed it out. And it comes the way of Jasper Cook, who gives it away to Gus Osborne. Gus Osborne gets it up the ground into towards the forward line. Brigades desperate for a first goal of the afternoon. Goes the way of Dion Dan. Dion Dan centres the ball cleverly. Picks out Gus Osborne. Osborne kicks it in quick. Looking again for a teammate there in Hassan Ahmet Watkins. And Brigades players slung to the ground. And the umpire says, no, give it to me. I'll throw the ball up. The player that had the ball, James Hagan, trying to get something forward for the Hawks.
The ball in the shadows of the goals for Brigades at the moment. Can they get a score as they try and break the shackles? Going forward, a player is almost caught in possession, or is he? And that player is Gus Osborne. Yeah. And there's a kick toward goal, though, coming out of that passage of play, but it comes off hands once again and through for the minor score. So things, Brigades continue to pepper away. Ball out of defence. Here they come now down the middle of the ground. The ball is quickly bottled up. Brigades send it back to whence it came. This looks like it's a goal. No, it's not. And alas, it's just hit the post and through for the minor score. So Matty Paddock joining us for special comments this afternoon. How are you, Matty?
Good, thank you, Pete. And what a day of football we have in front of us. And yeah, at the moment Brigades can't seem to buy a goal, but they are peppering hard, which is important.
No, it certainly is. So they certainly are into attack at the moment, but Glenn just not getting the dividend on the board.
Yeah, 4 points, plays 2 goals for, but Brigades are peppering away. They've got the ball in their forward 50 again. Goes the way of Dylan Ralph. Dylan Ralph kicks it up towards full forward. Ball off hands. But the ball goes rushed through by Chris Scott. So Chris Scott, the Rovers defender, brings the ball back into play. Chris Scott plays the ball on now, goes out wide, looking there for a teammate. Ball snapped forward, comes back towards Rovers. Rovers under pressure. Brigades putting good pressure on. Once again, they man again. Lucas Ronan puts a good tackle on, and the umpire has no option to come in and throw the ball up. 8 minutes gone in this second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the federal member for Durack. In this term, we've seen Brigades add another 3 behinds, but they haven't been able to get a major on the board. Got the breeze at their back, although the breeze is an awkward one and blowing across the ground again.
It must be, Glenn, because both sides have had a bit of trouble, haven't they?
They have, but the ball is on that far side more regularly than it is on this side, which is strange too, because
bit
the breeze,
of swirling perhaps.
Yes. Ball comes back of Rovers now. Rovers get it down, goes the way of Simpson. He gets the ball forward, only as far as the Brigades player. He's tackled high, and the free kick will go the way of Brigades, and Jesse Castleton is that player. So Jesse Castleton working hard, as he always does, off half-back, kicks it forward, finds Hayden Johnson. Hayden hasn't been sighted too often this afternoon. Ball spills. He's given away a free kick to go the way of the Rovers player there in Gabriel Parfitt. So Gabriel Parfitt off half-pack, goes across the ground, picks out his teammate in Owen Dan. Owen Dan went to play on. Umpire said no, he didn't. He does now. Runs across the ground, goes the way of Kobe Simpson. Kobe Simpson plays on quickly, short pass, finds Sean Brennan. Sean Brennan on centre wing, just in front of our broadcast box here at Radio Mama. And the player slung him.
That is a sling if you've ever seen one.
Yeah, so Gus Osborne slung him, and there's no doubt about that. And Sean Brennan will get a free kick on centre wing. Sean Brennan with the ball. So Sean Brennan has the ball, and he'll send the ball forward. Sean Brennan plays on quickly, finds Gabriel Parfitt. Gabriel Parfitt plays on quickly. Gabriel Parfitt wanting to get the ball on. Plays a short pass, gets it forward. Looking up there for Dan. Owen Dan plays on by hand. Tom Denton. Tom Denton's tackled. Play on's the call. Goes back towards Rovers. Rovers hadn't. Jack Eastoff's that player. Good pressure put on Eastoff. We had a good tackle on him by the player there in Hagan. But the umpire will come in, and umpire Forrester will throw the ball up. We're in the middle stages of the second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the federal member for Durack. Low scoring contest. Rovers are 2-4 and Brigades are 4.
Yeah, a bit of a scrappy affair. Matty Paddock joins us. Matty, it hasn't lifted to much heights this game at the moment.
No, the pressure is certainly high from both teams. I noticed that neither one, at least in this term, has been able to get on top of the other. Brigades obviously using whatever win there is to their advantage, but they haven't been able to get on the scoreboard.
Kobe Simpson sends the ball in now. Can a mark here be decisive for the Demons? Going to ground. It's not picked up. So they do better, do Brigades, as AJ Valley sends it straight back down the corridor, but there he is again. Simpson. That's Tristan Simpson to Kobe Simpson. He's quickly caught in possession. Gee, that's pretty lucky. Gets it away in the end to that player in Brennan. Brennan quickly sends it back in the corridor. Going back the way now of the player at Owen Dan. He was all at sea. He didn't know what to do. Caught in possession, and Gus Osborne, the recipient of a free kick. In fact, it's Ned.
He plays on quickly, finds Daniel Leach is having a little bit of an interesting contest there with his team opposition player in Daniels. He comes out as Leach goes the way of the new player in the lineup for the Brigade side, and Kyle Hams. He gets it up towards Osborne. That time it was Gus. Gus Osborne gets it up towards half forward. Kobe Simpson breaks another tackle. We want to be very careful. Gets a handball away. Goes the way of a teammate in Jake Criddle. Ball comes back towards Tom Denton. Tom Denton kicks it up along centre wing and finds Tristan Simpson. Tristan Simpson on centre wing. Kicks it up towards half forward. Looking up there for Joshua. Joshua Simpson, that is. And Joshua has the ball on a string this afternoon. Grabs the ball, but his kick is an awkward one. Goes off the side of the boot. Out of bounds on the full. So the score hasn't changed a lot since quarter time. Rovers are 2-4-16 and Brigades are six behind. So I don't think they're quite 6 behind. So it might be 5 behind. But we'll see that at half time.
Tristan Simpson, I think, getting most of the ball here for Rovers so far this afternoon. In fact, his disposals have certainly been the best as we see the ball go in from Denton. He gets it to Dan. Denton gets it again. They can't get any Latitude going forward, goes away now. Farron Parfitt, he throws it up like a hot potato, going to ground. Need to put it to the boot, boys, one would think. As the ball comes out now, it's like they're at 6s and 7s, not quite knowing what to do with the ball as the ball goes back the way now of the Demons. They'll send it inboard now. Mark here is decisive, and it almost is taken by Tazewell, the big ruckman. He quickly puts it onto his boot. That's the way to do it, son. But it doesn't have the accuracy. But a mark is taken, or is it? I think it might have been by Jamin alone. Yes,
He
right
ran
in the
with the
goal
flight of
square.
the ball, yeah.
He did. He's incredible. We talk about how thick his body is, Glenn, and how he can manoeuvre himself. He's just incredible. He's got the smarts as Jamin alone. He's very close to the goal. And he'll nail this one, even with a check side kick. Yes, he does. Straight through the middle. That's an important goal in the context of this match. It sees Rovers go to 3-4, and they lead Brigades just the 6 points.
And, Matty, that's something we see quite often, isn't it? The players have had it up that other end for the last 13 minutes. Rovers go forward, and Jamin alone finishes with a very exciting goal, made something out of nothing.
As a team and as a player, that's the one that kills you when you work that hard to get the ball inside your forward line. Repeat entries as Brigades were able to do, but weren't able to get that reward on the scoreboard. And then all of a sudden, Rovers go bang bang to the other end, and Jamin alone kicks what he made look very easy in the end. So
But it wasn't an easy goal, was it?
No, it wasn't. And I think how close he was to the goal was what's helped him there, because up against a very stiff breeze, a gusty breeze. But Glenn, it's nearly 14 minutes gone, and Brigades really haven't made any inroads in a quarter where they should be right now.
That's right. So the work goes back. They've still need to get a score on the board. They've kicked a few behinds in this quarter. They've added 4. The scoreboard says they've added 5. We'll check that at half-time. So the ball thrown up by the umpire, goes the way of Patrick, goes the way of the player there in Dylan Ralph. Gets it out to a teammate, and Brigades quickly go forward. The ball's now with Osborne. This time it's Ned Osborne on centre wing. Kicks it up towards half-forward, looking for Dion Dan, the Brigades player. Goes back towards Brigades. Gus Osborne working hard now, but the ball spills. Goes the way of Eastoff. Eastoff quickly gets it up the ground. Finds Clay Azevedo on centre wing. On the outer side, there goes his kick up towards the half-forward line.
Good mark.
Good mark taken by Blake Tazewell, as Peter mentioned. Goes the way of Daniels. Daniels kicks it forward. And there he is, Jamin alone. He's kicked 2 this afternoon. This time he's a fair way out from goal.
Matty Paddock, you see much of Daniels so far this year. He's got some slick skills, hasn't he?
yeah, he certainly does. And never looks overawed. Always seems pretty calm and is able to hit a target when you need.
Well, Jamin alone is certainly starting to have an impact in this match, Glenn. He scored the last goal in just moments ago, and now he's directly in front. He's got a big kick on him, and he's going to kick straight into the breeze, so we'll need to really leverage this one. And he does, straight through the goals, and Rovers have a handle on the game here at Daimler Truck Oval.
Yeah, that's Jamin's 3rd of the afternoon. He's kicked 1 in the first, and now he's kicked the last 2 for Rovers, and it must be heartbreaking for Brigades. For the first 13 minutes of this quarter, they were very much in the contest, but Jamin alone has finished it off with a beautiful goal from a fair way out. So 3 goals for Jamin, and other goal scorer this afternoon for the Rovers club was Farron Parfitt.
Yeah,
but as we mentioned, Brigades haven't kicked a goal.
No, Matty Paddock with special comments here this afternoon. Thanks for joining us, Matty. Dylan Ralph, he's gone AWOL a bit, hasn't he?
No, yeah, since the first quarter, he's been unsighted. I'll keep a closer eye to see if Rovers have put any extra attention on him, but seems like Brigade's other players have stood up in that space.
They certainly have. Back in the middle now. 60 minutes gone in the second term. Rovers lead 18-6 on the 28-6, I should say, on the scoreboard. It's a very small 2 on the scoreboard. The ball on the far side now. There is Dylan Ralph. He must have heard me. He tries to knock it forward on the outer side of Daimler Truck Oval here this afternoon, but only as far as the defender for Rovers. They send it back to the outer side below the score clock, and it's picked up, I think, by an Osborne. He sends it inboard, but no one's there to collect it, or are they? There's Ronan. He does well. He's been good this afternoon to this point, trying hard, gets it to a teammate who sends it back into the fray. Players diving everywhere. Rovers do the better out of this as they go forward through Parfitt, in turn to Dan. Dan, in turn, decides to play on. He sells the dummy. He goes down. He tight ropes the boundary. Sends it inboard. He's looking for a lone. It overshoots the target, but there is a player that knows exactly what to do, but he misses on that occasion, and going through for the minor score is Big Scott.
M&B Trade Centre scoreboard. Rovers go to 4 goals, 5-19. The lead Brigades 6 behinds. Ball to be brought back in by the Brigades defenders. Time running out for Brigades in this quarter, but it's been a pretty low-scoring first half considering the conditions, although the ground is wet underfoot. Beautiful conditions for football. A lot of pressure on. There's no doubt about this. These 2 top sides. Rovers are undefeated, and Brigades have been in good form in recent times. There goes the kick forward. Brigades goes the way of Jack Deschamps. He couldn't put a handle on it. Ball comes back towards the boundary line, but the ball goes out of play, and the ball to be brought back in by the boundary umpire. In fact, the lasso rule comes into play. So Roworth goes the way of Jack Eastoff. Eastoff goes across the ground, across the half-back line, finds Tom Denton. Tom goes further wide and finds Dwayne Neville. Dwayne Neville on half-back, running towards the centre line, kicks it towards half-forward. Brigades are there in the best position and goes the way of Hames. Hams gets it forward, goes the way of a Rovers player. Azevedo has been caught in too high. No, he fended off and he's been paid the penalty. So it'll go the way of Brigades. Will get the resultant free kick. Good tackle, and I've been impressed with the way the Osborne boys, Gus and Ned, have been tackling this afternoon. And Osborne has the ball now. This time it is Gus. Gus goes out wide and he finds a teammate. That teammate is Kalani Barton. Kalani Barton gets it up the ground, but only as far as Rovers. Rovers go forward again through Jake Criddle, but it's cut off on half-back line. And this time it's Jesse Castleton who saves the day for the Hawks.
Jesse Castleton, premiership player, Rock of Gibraltar in last year's grand final, that's for sure. The ball on the far side is with the Brigades. Player sizing up his options, and there's not too many as he hesitates. Quickly puts it onto his boot in the end and sends it down the line, but at the base of the packet is Tristan Simpson, who's there to try and gather it. He's not able to do so. In fact, it's Bo Simpson going toward the boundary line. Bo has another bite of the cherry, or does he? The ball comes back inboard. It's staying inside now and comes inboard now, going the way of Gabriel Parfit, and he's quickly brought to ground. One would say he's almost caught in possession. The ball spills free. The umpire lets it go on like a rolling ball here this afternoon. And eventually, umpire Starling goes in to break up whatever is happening, and the ball will be thrown up right in front of the time clock here this afternoon, which sees 19 and a half minutes gone in the second term.
Yes, on the S-Trent Communications scoreboard. And time clock goes the way now of Rovers. They go forward again. And Brigades can ill afford Rovers to score another goal. Ball goes the way of Rovers. A handball goes forward from Josh Simpson. Ball comes back to the player there in Dan. Whistle on play. A Rovers player got rid of the ball in an inappropriate way. So it goes the way now of the player there for Rovers, for Brigades, and that is AJ Valley. AJ Valley kicks it up along the half-forward line, or half-back line, looking up there for a teammate. And Brigades are under pressure. Rovers have really lifted the ante since about halfway through this quarter. In the first part of this quarter, it was all Brigades. They had the ball in their forward 50. Having lots of shots at goal.
But
about
since 3 or 4, didn't they? They were
did.
Unsuccessful.
And that's really costly. You've got to be efficient around goal. Ball goes the way of Brigades. LB Dean gets it forward. Brigades player is tackled. Ball comes back. Rovers go in through Eastoff. Jack Eastoff puts it on his left boot, goes out wide, finds a teammate. That teammate quickly gets a handball on, goes the way of the player there in Scott. Scott handballs it, but the ball under pressure goes back across the boundary line. There'll be a boundary throw in deep in the left forward pocket at the city end of the ground, and the boundary umpire getting the ball back into play.
Time ticking away in the first half. Rovers have a good lead in consideration of how this game has unfolded so far this afternoon. The ball into a passage of play there. Rovers come out with it, or do they? They get a second bite of the cherry. Straight onto the boots. Azevedo, a nice kick inside the corridor. A bounce here we kind for the Demons. What can they do? There he is, alone. He's lurking. He has 2 to beat. He's going to try and drag them on himself. He gives it away to a teammate there who runs on, but the whistle has sounded. The player is Jason Daniels, and a free kick will go the way of AJ Valley. Holding sway Valley there. Alone doesn't know that new rule, Glenn. He's getting done for it twice now.
There goes Valley. Valley sends the ball back out, goes the way of the Brigades player, and that player is Lucas Ronan. Lot to like about Lucas's game in this first half. He kicks it forward. Good mark, almost to Jimmy Hagan, but Jimmy Hagan couldn't put a handle on it. Ball goes across the boundary line. There'll be a boundary throw-in on centre wing on the side of the old Greenough Works maintenance shed. And the umpire to put the ball back into play.
A lot of dogs over there these days, Glenn.
There is, yes, certainly a lot of dogs.
Oh, kennel.
The ball comes back into play. Goes the way of Rovers. Rovers get it the way of another Rovers player working hard in Sheldon Nally. Sheldon gets the ball forward, but only as far as the Brigades player. And Ronan is that player again. He kicks it back up towards the centre wing position, looking there for Kalani Barton, who's lifted his rating in this quarter. Ball comes back. But the ball slips out in towards the centre of the ground where Blake Tazewell feeds a handball out, but only as far as Brigades Kate and Dan. Ball eventually goes forward. A Brigades player is slung, and the free kick will go up the ground, and the ball will go up towards half forward. So Brigades, can they get a score late in this half? I don't know they won't. They're going to run out of time because the ball is about 70 metres out. He'd need to be able to kick like I don't know who to kick from there. So, it's going to be a shot at goal. He's got to give it a go.
Go in the barrel.
He's got a breeze behind him.
There goes his kick now. Doesn't quite get the accuracy he would like or the distance. And it's half-time at the football. And Rovers on pretty good terms with themselves as they head into the half-time break. Rovers are 4-5. They lead Brigades 6 behinds. And you're tuned to Radio Mama, your home of GNFL football.
You're listening to Radio Mama and the GNFL match of the day, thanks to Community Bank Geraldton.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix, macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory. Until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
The relationship with Great Southern Fuels started with my father 50 years ago, delivering fuel in drums back in the day, which has progressed into large tanks now. They've been very reliable and efficient on time with service.
We run a mixed farming operation here on Chapman Valley, just north of Geraldton, managing about 5,500 hectares. We've been with what is now Great Southern Fuels for in excess of 20 years. There's always challenges and situations that catch you out, and they've been really, really good at accommodating that for us.
We've been with Great Southern for 28 years now. Look, they've given us exceptional service and the price competitive, so it's wonderful.
They're a great company to work for. They're a family-owned business. They will support you and whatever is required.
I've got Alan's phone number, I've got Steve's phone number, and I know if I ring it I'll get an answer, which is really cool.
The relationship's great and the service is second to none. So I ring up and it doesn't matter if it's Saturday, Sunday or whenever I ring up, I'll have fuel. So we've never been held up or had a problem with them. So my theory is that's what I'm about. It's about service and the relationship, and it's been fantastic.
It's very important to maintain long-term customers' loyalty and give back what you can when you can.
Great Southern Fuels is one of the few companies that I've been involved with that gives so much back to the local community. We support so many different organisations and country, sporting clubs, field days, farming organisations.
We endeavour to give back. The community looked after us by dealing with us, and we just gave it back in what we could do. Footy club needs a hand, well, it's because they need a hand that you give it to, not the other way around.
When you look at how they conduct themselves in the community, they've been a great supporter of the Livestock Transporters Association. Just incredible what they do.
I do a lot for the community, which is good. And not only Lake Race either, it's right through where all these outlets are all over the state. He's been excellent with that.
We tend to sponsor major events, the Great Southern Football Carnival, Colts Carnival.
Across the board, I think sponsorships are a very important part of any community. I grew up in Lake Grace and footy was my life down there for a long time. Great Southern sponsored Lake Grace back then, and along with many other footy clubs and hockey clubs and tennis clubs, and we might not always be making a big deal out of it, but the people that get sponsored, they understand and they relate to it.
They do a lot for the town, so I can't fault them. They've been brilliant.
Great Southern Fuels have got strong values, and that shows in what they do. They walk the talk and they do what they do.
You deal with people that are there and care about your business, and these people have been absolutely wonderful.
I'm very proud of what Mum and Dad have achieved in their life and how they've structured the business, and it's all structured around our customers and looking after people and being in the right areas where we need to sell the fuel and have the support there and sponsorship. Being part of the community, even though we're not in that community, but our workers are there and that's part of us.
You're listening to the GNFL Match of the Day, thanks to Kerrily War MLA and the City of Greater Geraldton on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
And a very good afternoon. Welcome back. Halftime at the football, and we are your home of GNFL footy on Drennan O'Malley Motors Game Day. Glenn Barnden, Peter Forenza with expert comments from Matthew Paddock. And at halftime, Rovers on pretty good terms with themselves. Rovers 4-5-29. They lead Brigades 6 behind, so a 23-point margin in favour of the Rovers, the Demons, on their home track. Looking at our better players and goal scorers, just quickly telling that Rovers, Jamin Alone has kicked 3, Farron Parfitt has kicked 1. What did you think of the first half, Matthew?
Yeah, very competitive contest. I know that the scoreboard perhaps doesn't tell the story, but Brigades have really worked hard. They just haven't been able to get that reward, and Rovers have punished them on the other hand. Tristan Simpson, I thought, has been very good for Rovers, as has Jamin Alone in the low-scoring contest. I think he's kicked 3 now. For Brigades, Dylan Ralph was quieter in that quarter, but I think he's been good, and so has Jesse Castleton.
Ball back in the centre with umpire Forrester putting the ball into the air. The umpire's doing a great job this afternoon. The ball goes up towards half forward where Clay Azevedo for the Demons gets it forward. A Rovers player is tackled, didn't have prior opportunity. Umpire Starling will come in and throw the ball up. Umpires this afternoon for Sandra Carr, MLC, Steve Pratt, Darren Forrester and Randall Starling. As we go around the grounds, with thanks to Kerrily Ward, the member for Geraldton, and also the City of Greater Geraldton. Umpire says play on, ball caught in possession, player caught in possession, free kick will go the way of Rovers, and the Rovers player plays on, but the umpire will bring him back. At half-time, at the other games, at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground, Railways 13-6-84 lead Mullawall 1 behind, and at Percher International Oval at Northampton, Chapman Valley 5-5-35 lead Northampton 4-7-31, so a 4-point margin there. So the close game is at Percher International Oval at the moment.
Certainly is, and we are into a shot on goal by Sheldon Nelly, a player who certainly figured at the country championships last week for Great Northern in the Colts. So Sheldon Nelly, he'll kick from just inside the forward 50 when he gets onto this one. He's got a breeze at his back. It's about almost a 3-goal breeze now, and it's really gusted up. Let's see what can happen here. He's going around the man on the mark. It's not the best of kicks, but will it come around? Up into the air, got colour pays and almost a mark by Azevedo. He takes the marks before he gets them, this fella.
As a Shepherd on play, the ball will go the way of Brigades, won't be a score.
No, so it's no score at all. Glenn's very good on that. So the ball coming out of defence now for Brigades. So the ball coming out now below the scoreboard, which sees Rovers leading quite convincingly in the context of this match. 29 plays 6. I think if Rovers get a couple of goals early in this term, they could sort of put Brigades well and truly behind the 8 ball. Castleton on the far side. He goes to the outer side now. He's looking for that player in Ralph. We talked about him not figuring much this afternoon, but he gets a free kick, has been pushed out of play on this occasion. Ralph. He sees options inside now, players setting themselves. Will it come down? A nice mark is taken by Simpson. That's Bo Simpson. He comes laterally now. He finds this player and Josh Simpson. Josh Simpson, a nice little toe poke. He finds the player that just had the last shot on goal in Sheldon Nelly, goes further afield. Will he find a mark? He does. I think it's Dan that has it. Dan sends it inboard now. He's looking for Jamin Alone. He's got a couple to beat. He's trying to take him on all the time. He's alone. But he's got to realise he needs to get rid of the ball on this occasion. And again, he does it and gets caught. So the ball in defence now for Brigades. Rovers peppering away or putting a lot of pressure on in their forward 50. That's for sure. The ball coming out of defence. Up goes the player there to try and take a mark, and Tom Denton. He brings it to ground. The ball goes in. Rovers still have it, or do they? Simpson puts it out into space. Denton finds it, follows it toward the boundary, and the lasso rule means it'll be brought in by Dylan Ralph in deep defence for Brigades.
Ball deep in the pocket. Ball to be brought back in, as Peter mentioned. Dylan Ralph, one of the many Brigades players needing to lift in this quarter, goes the way to another experienced player in Daniel Leach. Daniel Leach plays on quickly, short pass, looking up there for Osborne. Good bit of pressure there by Tristan Simpson. Good pressure on him. Ball very close to the boundary line, and the umpire will go, free kick will go the way of Osborne. So the ball is with Ned. Ned Osborne plays on, short pass, barely 15 metres. That's the way the umpire has seen it. Play on's the call. Ball socket forward. Goes the way now of Brigades through Jesse Castleton. Goes the way of Barton. Kalani Barton back towards Castleton. Castleton would boot the ball, but he goes across the face of the score. And the umpire said he marked it, so he did. Osborne gets a short pass, barely 15 metres. Daniel Leach is that player. Leach gets the ball up the ground, looking for Clay Sippler. Clay Sippler with the ball on half forward, just in front of the big crowd here at Greenough. And, of course, it's Players' Day, a players' reunion here at Rovers. Ball goes forward. Saw some great people in there. Kim Anderson, Phil Kiley, and many other luminaries of the club. Ian Comben here, former coach, premiership coach. And lots of people at the Rovers Club this afternoon for the big one this afternoon between the two top qualifiers. Rovers looking to keep their undefeated record intact. At the moment, they're doing okay. The ball goes the way of Rovers' Josh Simpson. He handballs it forward. In goes the Brigades player. He's tackled high. And the way the umpire has seen it, Lucas Ronan feeds a handball out. Ball goes forward through Gus Osborne. But once again, Brigades making very hard work of it. Goes the way of Keegan Brockman. Keegan shoots on goal, but a whistle on play. The ball will come back, I think. So the umpire says, yeah, the free kick will go. Waiting on the call and the decision.
It's coming back to number 10.
Okay. So the ball will come back, and the ball will go the way of
Jasper Cook, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Former Railways player. Jasper Cook playing his first season with the Brigades Hawks. So Jasper
He's
Cook,
a bit Milan Murdoch-ish, isn't he?
He is. So Jasper Cook, who played Colts for Railways last year in their premiership side, lining up for goals. Puts it on his left boot, shoots towards goal, and didn't quite make the distance. Ball slapped forward. Goal umpire signals 1 point only.
Incredible statistic, Glenn. We're into the third term. Brigades, one of the favourites for the premiership. Reigning premiers have not scored a goal.
Yes, it's an amazing situation. The ground slippery, players under pressure, not being able to keep their feet. And the ball comes the way again of Lucas Ronan to Daniel Leach. Handballs at the way of Keegan Cross. Keegan Brockman, as he is known these days. Keegan Brockman kicks the ball in towards half forward, where he finds the hard-running player in Gus Osborne. So Gus Osborne lining up for goal, 30 metres out on a 45-degree angle. And to say Brigades need this one is the understatement of the day. So Osborne shooting towards the city end. A very important kick. 6 minutes gone in this third term. The premiership quarter for Drennan O'Malley Motors. So Gus Osborne taking his time, shoots towards goal, ball fades away to the right-hand side. And on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard, Brigades go to 8 behinds. They trail Rovers 4 goals 5.
Interesting, Matty Paddock special comments today. Brigades have only had one more shot than Rovers.
Yeah, I almost can't get a read on this. You know, it's between the ears. I think at this point, the effort is there, the intensity is there, but when it comes to getting a score on the board, they just can't seem to kick it through the big sticks.
No, they're really having trouble with it. As the ball coming out of defence now at the southern end, the breeze coming from that end, so a bit more weather, one would think, on the way, Glenn Barnden. So let's hope it doesn't happen before this game's out, although we might get a little bit wet. So the ball out of defence now with Kobe Simpson. A nice big kick straight down the middle. There is Jack Eastoff, who no one was there, only Jack. Jack now size up his options. Players on the run would be quite positive for Rovers at the moment. Comes out the way of Josh Simpson down the line. He finds the player there in Daniels. Daniels further afield. He's looking for support down there. Goes away now. Sheldon Nally almost caught in possession. Gets it away to Dan. Dan back to Daniels. Daniels has got 2 to beat. He misses the ball when it was sent to him. He's able to get it forward now. Azevedo tries to break the shackles. He goes into play instead of out of it. And he's almost gobbled up, one would think, as he goes to ground. The ball spills free. Brigades do the better on this occasion, or do they? Yes, they do. But a player is quickly tackled, brought to ground. The umpire says no prior opportunity. And the ball will be thrown up in the half-forward area now for the Demons.
Yes, not a very low-scoring contest. The rain hasn't fallen at all today, but as we know, there's plenty of rain around yesterday, so the ground is greasy and it does the players are battling to keep their feet, but there's a lot of pressure on the ball carriers, we've said a number of times today. Ball comes back into play. Free kick and ball goes the way of Simpson. Josh Simpson, who's been good this afternoon. He kicks it forward, looking there for Jamin alone. Jamin puts it on his left boot as he screws it around the corner, but he gets it out of bounds on the full. It hit the point post about 3/4 the way up. So it'll go the way of Tate McLean gives it back to Dion Dan. Dion Dan gets the free kick. Oh, there we...
Jamin's going to have another go.
Goes straight across the face of goal.
The worst person that could have marked it in respect to Brigades, that is. And Jamin alone now will shoot from about 25 metres, Glenn.
And he's on the right side for a left footer. So Jamin would be saying, yeah, I can get my 4th of the afternoon, go to star status in this low-scoring game. So Jamin alone, lining up for goal number 4. Shoots on goal from 30 metres out.
He's got it.
He's got it. That's his 4th of the afternoon. And on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard, we see Rovers tick over to 5 goals, 5. They lead Brigades 8 behind.
Matty Paddock, have you ever seen a guy as solid as Jamin alone to be as nimble as he is?
They're few and far between, I can assure you of that. But, I used to see him play at Subiaco, and he did exactly what he did then as he's doing now. Just his ability to manoeuvre his body, to find space, take marks that, shouldn't be taken by us normal players, but he seems to find a way.
And Glenn Barnden, Sheldon Nelly starting to ride off the back of what was a good performance at the CBH Carnival.
Yeah, it would have been a confidence-boosting win. He played well down there, as all the Colts players did. And as I said to you after the Carnival, these players will all improve. The Colts players who may be a little bit tired after last weekend's campaign, but they will improve as the season goes on. And there's that man again, Sheldon Nelly. Slams it on his boot, kicks it forward. Dion Dan finds himself out of place. Jamin Alone's having the ball come to him. Goes the way to Clay Azevedo, and Azevedo's offline on this occasion. And on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard here at Daimler Truck Greenock Oval, it is Rovers go to 5 goals, 6. They lead Brigades 8 behinds. In other games today, we can tell you that it's a tight game up at Northampton. Only 4 points in it in favour of Chapman Valley at half-time. And 83 points in it at half-time in favour of Railways at
Glenn,
the recreation ground.
I was listening to the player list today on Footy Forum, and probably one of the best sides Northampton put on the park so far this year.
Well, yeah, they had Braden Jupp in the side. They had Kingsley Smith in the
Braden's
side.
Been out for most of the season.
So Braden's and Kingsley are star players at Northampton, of course. And certainly they will bring the pressure on the Chapman Valley side to have many, many young players in their squad
Dan,
again.
In defence for Rovers, has the ball. I should say defence for Brigades. He sends it further afield, finds Kalani Barton. Barton now under siege somewhat, Brigades. They haven't fired a shot, and that literally, they haven't fired a shot going by the scoreboard here this afternoon. The ball in the middle of the ground now, and is with this player in Dylan Ralph. Must have heard me a little bit earlier on when I say he wasn't getting much of the ball. He sends it further afield. Get a bit of a run on here, do the Brigade side as they send it inside the corridor, but there is again Tristan Simpson. He's been good this afternoon, mopping up across the half-back line, gets it to that player in Denton. Denton back to Nelly, and he's off like Usain Bolt. He's down in front of us now. He bounces once, twice. Is he going to do it again? He's getting a little bit cheeky with the pink boots. He sends it further afield and kicks it out on the full. Gee, probably just ran Matty Paddock a little bit too far on that occasion.
Yeah, maybe he's gassed from his wonderful tournament for the GNFL Colts, but he's had a good day otherwise. I think that's his first mistake.
No, he's done okay, and just came off. The kick just didn't resonate, and the ball coming back in now from Brigades in the middle of the ground. We see a nice mark is taken there by Albie Dean. He goes further afield now to the outer side, finds AJ Valley down that side of the ground, and getting a few kicks together as it goes into the half-forward flank and finds Deschamps. Deschamps sends it further afield inside the corridor. Doesn't meet the intended target. Goes to ground. The Rovers defenders do well. Burstall's one of those. Playing at centre half-back. He tells me he loves playing on the half-back flank. I'm saying, well, do you want to be a forward? But he says, no, Pete, I like it on the half-back. I like it when the ball's coming at me. And that was just a bit of an example of that. The ball on the far side now. Rovers are away. And it looks like it's Daniels who has the ball. He puts it onto his boot. In fact, it's Owen who sends it in, and it was a nice kick. He takes it back. Owen Dan, that is. He shoots on goal. That's great play by Owen Dan. That was special stuff. He goals for Rovers, and they really are giving it to Brigades here this afternoon.
That was Farron Parfitt, a goal.
I apologise.
So Farron Parfitt, a good goal there, and the scoreboard rolls over for the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard, and Rovers are 6 goals, 6. And Brigades are 8 behind, so Farron Parfitt's now kicked 2. He's got 2 goals now. And, of course, his teammate Jamin alone has kicked 4. So every time Brigades go forward, Rovers rebound. And, Matty, it's going to be pretty hard from here to see Brigades get their way back into this contest?
Yeah, extremely tough. I've still got a bit of PTSD from last year. I can see what Brigades are capable of when it comes to second half comebacks, but it would take an almighty effort, I think, for them to get on top today.
14 minutes gone on the S Trent Communication
This
scoreboard.
quarter brought to you by Drennan O'Malley Motors, Glenn.
The Premiership quarter, as we call it, but Brigades haven't been able to get a major on the board. They've added 2 points in this quarter, and Rovers have added 2 goals, 1. So Rovers continuing to put the pressure on, but this is the Rovers' last roll of the dice when it comes to the wind. They have the breeze at their back, although it's an awkward breeze.
They've scored pretty well against it too, Glenn.
They have. Ball blowing across the ground, so it's a tough one. Daniel Leach, his work rate has been good this afternoon. Daniel Leach plays on now, across the centre, kicks it up towards LB Dean. LB Dean plays on quickly, kicks it up towards full forward.
Oh, nice mark.
And Hassan Ahmed Watkins, he hasn't put a handle on too many this afternoon, but he has on this occasion. And Hassan will shoot on goal from 40 metres out, directly in front. And Hassan, who kicked 10 goals in his last outing, and that was a game against Northampton, but he hasn't had his kicking boots on. Well, he hasn't had any opportunities to have the kicking boots on because the ball hasn't been there very often. Hassan Ahmed Watkins lining up for his first of the afternoon. He's a very good kicker of the football, and he's got that one. And Brigades get their first. Could you believe it? 15 minutes into the third quarter, the Drennan O'Malley quarter, and Brigades go to 1 goal, 8. They trail Rovers 6 goals, 6, and a much-needed goal to the Brigades Hawks.
Yeah, Matt Watkins is very important to the Brigades machine. He finishes things off well. When he first came to town, Glenn, he came with a bit of fanfare. We're waiting for him to raise his head, and by the grand final last year, we certainly knew that he was a player of note.
And we've seen this year he's carried that on. He's been very good, very consistent player this year. He's been in very good touch. He's fitter than he has been for a long time, playing some really good football. And he's a confidence player, and he hasn't had a lot of the ball, but you've got to pay credit to Kobe Simpson.
His father-in-law, Max Johnson, might be listening today. Glenn takes a few snaps around the place and puts a few oldies back up on social media as well.
He certainly does. Yeah, Kobe Simpson's done a good job holding him to account this afternoon to this point. Picked up again by Brigades, and Daniel Leach gets it out. Goes the way now of his teammate there, and James Hagan. Jimmy Hagan gets it up the ground, finds Breen. Breen by hand to Dylan Ralph. Dylan Ralph kicks it up towards forward line. Looking up there for Hassan. In goes Keegan Brockman. And Keegan sees the ball across the boundary line. No, ball still in play. Whistle on play. 2 players clash, go very close to the boundary line. And the boundary umpire to throw the ball back into play. 16 and a half minutes gone. First score for a major sense came at the 15-minute mark of this term for Brigades. Ball comes back into play from the boundary throw-in. Ball goes the way of Rovers. Rovers get the ball forward. Goes the way of Tom Denton. Tom Denton by hand to Clay Azevedo. Azevedo has the ball held, and he's been caught in possession. Good bit of pressure put on by the player there in AJ Valley.
He go one way and he went that way.
AJ Valley plays on, short pass, and finds Dylan Ralph. Dylan Ralph on centre wing. Dylan Ralph runs around Dwayne Neville. Play on's the call. Advantage rule as Dwayne Neville put the pressure on high. Ball goes forward, goes the way of Rovers. They slap the ball forward. Picked up now by Rovers. Ball goes the way of the player there in James Hagan. He goes towards the goal line, but he's offline, and the ball goes out of bounds. The boundary throw-in about 30 metres around from the right point post.
17 and a half minutes gone in this, the third term. Brigades just scored their first goal of the game just moments ago. Can they back it up and go into the final term with a bit of solace? But let's see what can happen. In it comes now. Going the way of Kane Simpson. Hasn't had a lot of the ball this afternoon, and that's because he slips over quite a bit. He decides to go one way, then the other. Gives it back to a teammate there, his brother Bo. They send it down the line. There's Dwayne Neville. He tries to shield the ball, but it finds the sanctuary of the boundary. It is Lasso rule, and in it comes now. Finds the chest of the player there in Austin Breen. Breen now. He has the ball. He sends it down the ground. I don't know if that was 15 metres, but Lucas Ronan has it. Lucas Ronan, a nice big kick, a spiraling kick into the full forward area. No one can take the mark at the base of the pack. If a Brigades player can get a boot to it, Matt Watkins is looking for a free kick, and the umpire says no, nothing in that. Players dive on top of the piece of leather, and the umpire moves in to relieve the pressure. In the shadows of the goals for Brigades, as this quarter ticks away, not long quarters this afternoon, because not many goals have been scored. Up they go. Goes back the way of a Brigades player, sends it into space. Rovers are there, or are they? They need to get their mitts on it. And this player does, and we're talking about a player there in Simpson. That's Bo Simpson. He puts it into space, but Brigades starting to get on top a little, one would think, in this at this stage of the quarter as they send it into the half-forward area. But Rovers defence working hard. They find the sanctuary of the boundary, or find the boundary to send it toward, but eventually it goes over the white line and will be thrown in, and will be thrown in from that side of the ground. And Brigades, Matty Paddock starting to put on a little bit of pressure now.
Yeah, I don't think their pressure's wavered at all throughout this contest. I think they've been hard at it. They've been trying to win the footy, and at times they've been able to do that. It's just when they've just let themselves down when they go up forward, as they go here again.
Brigades have the ball in their forward 50. Rovers defence under pressure. Umpire says, no, I'll throw the ball up. Ball to be thrown up about 35 metres away from the danger zone for the Demons. Brigades desperate to get a goal, heading on towards time on in this third term with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. And Brigades kicking their first goal of the day in this term. Hasn't been any rain today, but as you know, there was plenty of rain yesterday. The ground is heavy underfoot.
Yeah, it would be. Wouldn't it be quite slippery too, you'd think?
It is, and that's why the players are struggling to keep their feet. But there's a lot of pressure on too. As Matthew mentioned, there's a lot of pressure on the ball carrier, and the intensity of the game has been good, but the skill level at times has been a little bit questionable. Ball comes the way now of Rovers, comes back to Brigades. Brigades by hand. Boot goes the ball from Austin Breen. In goes Rovers defender, Kobe Simpson, slaps it forward. In goes the hard-running player there in Leach, but ball comes out, goes the way of Daniels. Daniels gets a handball forward. In goes the Brigades player and Tate McLean. In goes Brigades Hayden Johnson. Picked up now by Dylan Ralph. Comes the way now of Hagan. Hagan gets it out to a teammate. Hagan was legged. Advantage rule may be paid, but no, it's coming back. So James Hagan will shoot on goal. James will be a fair way from goal.
Kane Simpson really hasn't been able to get into the game today.
So the ball will come back to Jimmy Hagan, and he will shoot on goal from about 40 metres. So a pretty difficult kick.
Victor Tandy sending through some stats to us today, Glenn. He said Brigade's lowest score is actually in a game is 1-4, and that was against Chapman Valley.
So they've beaten that.
In 2024, yeah, which they've avoided, he says, today.
Okay, so James Hagan with the ball, kicking towards the city end. James Hagan, can he get another score on the board and bring Brigades a little bit closer? There goes the kick from James Hagan. Looks pretty good off the boot, off hands and through for a force behind. And on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard, Brigades are 1 goal, 9-15. They trail Rovers 6 goals, 6.
Ball coming out of defence. Breen tries to get back into the passage of play again. Going out of defence now. Rovers struggling to get it out of the defensive zone. Brigades now putting on the pressure. The ball goes away of Rovers as they kick it forward and into a host of players. Goes away Vazavato, loses possession once again. The ball goes to ground. Players diving on top of it. Eventually goes away of this player in Simpson. That's Tristan Simpson. He gets it back just in front of our broadcast position. Puts it on his boot. In fact, it's Dan who gets it. That's Owen Dan. And he sends it down the line and puts it out on the full. So at the moment, Rovers are feeling Brigades as they really try and push their way back into this game in the time that's left. It isn't three-quarter time yet, so they certainly are starting to do some damage in their forward line.
Kyle Hams gets it up the ground, gets it the way of Osborne. Osborne goes the way of Sippler. Sippler kicks it forward, nobody home for Brigades, and Kobe Simpson takes another good mark in defence. Kobe's been good this afternoon, goes to brother Kane Simpson on half back. Slowing the game down, gets a short pass forward, picks out a teammate, and a good bit of play there. And the ball with the Rovers. Rovers get the ball out.
Credelli.
Yeah, young Credelli gets the ball forward, only as far as Kalani Barton. He centres the ball, puts his teammate under pressure, with an awkward kick. Jasper Cook was that player, and the umpire has no option to come and throw the ball up. So not a lot of time left in this quarter, the third quarter, for Drennan O'Malley Motors. And 6 goals, 6 plays, 1 goal, 9. And there's the siren. And we are at three-quarter time in our game of the day from Daimler Tuck's Greenough Oval. It's round 12 of the GNFL Community Bank Premiership season, with thanks to Midwest Wind Farms. And at three-quarter time, Rovers on target to keep their unbeaten record intact. Rovers are 6 goals, 6-42. They lead Brigades 1-9-15. And you're on Radio Mama, your home of GNFL football.
You're listening to the GNFL Match of the Day, thanks to Kerrily War MLA and the City of Greater Geraldton on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
Hound dog howling, trying to track it down. Straight pipes humming, coming back from town. Grease and a skillet going pop, pop, pop.
From Matthew Paddock, and at three-quarter time we can see that Rovers in a very good position. They lead by 27 points. They've led all day. They led by 15 points at quarter time, 23 points at half time. Now lead by 27 points, and it is Rovers 6-6-42. They lead Brigades 1-9-15. So, interesting scoreline. Brigades have had 10 scoring shots, but as we mentioned, they kicked their first goal at the 15-minute mark of the third quarter when Hassan Ahmed Watkins kicked their goal. Our quarter-by-quarter summaries with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton, Kerrily War, the member for Geraldton. For Rovers, Jamin Alone has been a star in a low-scoring game. He's kicked 4 goals. Farron Parfitt has kicked 2. And as I mentioned, Hassan Ahmed Watkins has kicked 1. So, interesting scoreline. Certainly plenty of a game to be still played as we head into the final quarter. Looking at other scores in other games at three-quarter time, up there at Percher International Oval, Chapman Valley 7-9-51, lead Northampton 5-10-40. But I would expect that maybe the breeze is playing a part in that contest, and it would appear that perhaps it would be Northampton will have the breeze in the last quarter. Umpires this afternoon with thanks to Sandra Carr, MLC umpires from the GNFL, Steve Pratt, Darren Forrester and Randall Starling. Randall Starling about to get the final term underway for GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Ball goes the way of Hayden Johnson. He slaps the ball forward, but it's picked up and rode by Daniels. Daniels gets boot the ball, kicks it towards half forward. Ball goes over the pack, goes the way of Brigades. They slap it forward. Can Rovers get it while they've got it in their forward 50? Brigades, the fence, do well. Dylan Ralph gets the kick away, goes up towards the centre of the ground. Brigades fly high, good mark taken there by Ned Osborne. Umpire said you didn't get first purchase and will throw the ball up. Early stages of this last quarter, we've played 40 seconds.
Yeah, Jack Eastoff certainly put paid to that, Glenn. The ball coming out of that passage of play off the half-back line. Dylan Ralph, as I said, he wasn't figuring. He's become a general out there so far. And some of the attacking sorties, or most of the attacking sorties for Brigades since the middle stages or early stages of the third term. Rovers off the half-back flank now. The ball down the line. Going up there to try and take the mark is Denton. Denton's gone a bit quiet too in this game, so some star players sort of have gone missing a little. But
I think players, Peter, lose a bit of momentum when they have these breaks.
Yeah.
You have a country week break and you get back into footy. It's almost like starting again, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you might have a point there, Glenn, and Denton probably is an example of that. The ball coming back into the corridor. Rovers have it, or do they? Coming out here, they need a bit of space. It goes away with Brennan. He's got a good head on him, Brennan. He sends it inside, but he's looking for Scott. Scott hesitated, and in doing so allowed his opponent to move in and take the mark. Brigades have it now. It's centre wing. Brigades, they'll send it down inside and looking for that player in Leach. Leach beats about two players because he sold the dummy, sends it inboard, but a nice mark is taken by Bursell. Just up into the air, he snatched it away, gives it to Kobe Simpson now. Now, Rovers have it on the half-back flank through Daniels. Daniels, he certainly is been an impacting player for Rovers this season. He sends it inboard now. His brother played a couple of weeks ago, but the only game I've seen him play, a bit of a cameo. The ball goes away of Farron Parfitt. Down the ground, and there's Jamin alone. He wanted to get the mark. The umpire says, no, there was more grass in that than there is on Burke's backyard, Glenn. And the ball goes toward the boundary now and finds the sanctuary. So Jamin alone almost, well, I don't think he almost got away with it, but he thought he was going to.
Well, he gave it a good shot, didn't he? And you can never die wondering with Jamin. He gives a good effort every time. Could have quite easily have grabbed the mark. The ball hit the ground, as you mentioned. Ball comes back. Jesse Castleton's there, feeds it out. Goes the way of a teammate, and Brigades under pressure. Need to get it out. Ball comes back to that player, and Kyle Hams. Kyle Hams comes out towards the clubroom side. Almost a good mark taken there by Jasper Cook. Ball spills. Picked up by Sean Brennan. Brennan deep into the pocket, and the ball goes out of bounds. And there'll be a throw-in about 15 metres around from the right point post. City end of the ground.
Good thinking by Brennan. He sort of doesn't panic, that young fella, does he?
Oh, he's a good young player. There's no doubt about it. Ball to be thrown back in. 3 minutes gone in this final quarter with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Daniel slips the ball away, comes back towards Dan, and he shoots on goal. Usually a good shot on goal is Owen Dan. This time he's offline, 1 point only. And on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard, Rovers go to 6 goals, 7, 43. They lead Brigades 1 goal, 9, 15.
Well, I think if Rovers could nail a goal early against the Breeze, they'd have this game sewn up, Glenn. They almost did that through the agencies of Owen Dan, but a little bit too careless on that kick. Just blazed away. The ball coming out of the fence now. Castleton gets it to a teammate there in McLean. Tate McLean. He's sending it down the line, and Brigades still have it as they send it further along that line, and Osborne has it too. So, Brigades, they've looked okay, especially across the half-back line, but getting into the forward and their sorties forward have been quite inaccurate, although Daniel Leach has certainly been a master up front and certainly has evaded many of his opponents here this afternoon, but the scoreboard just doesn't tell that story, Glenn.
And Matthew Paddock, you went out there at three-quarter time. What did you learn?
Yeah, it did. Try to get an ear in both camps. Rovers, for them, obviously they have the lead, so it was about composure, being composed with ball in hand, not forcing errors where possible. For Brigades, the task was simple. The coach pointed at the scoreboard and said, we need 7 goals, so be ruthless.
So the ball thrown up again, just in front of the score clock. which sees 5 minutes almost gone. Time running out for the Hawks. Rovers be happy to take the premiership points and take the win and continue on their merry way. Just looking at what happens next weekend, some interesting games. It'll be round 13, the Indigenous round for Geraldton Sports Aboriginal Corporation, and we can see, we see Brigades play Towns at GBSC. Our Drinno O'Malley Motors game day, Chapman Valley hosting Rovers out there at Mazzucchelli Oval, and Mullawa take on Northampton at Mullawa, and Railways have the bye next weekend. Of course, the
Glenn,
Indigenous round.
you want to go look at the crops again, don't you?
I do, and after the rain yesterday, it'll be a good look too. And of course, the Indigenous round, all to do with respect yourself, respect your culture. So looking forward to being a part of the celebrations between Chapman Valley and Rovers next weekend. But of course, still plenty of football to be played here. And a whistle on play, a Rovers player is getting himself up off the ground, and he'll get the free kick. The Brigades player looks to be in a bit of trouble over there. He's holding his head a little. And now a Rovers player gets the ball backwards, goes back towards Kobe Simpson. So Kobe Simpson kicks it up towards centre wing, looking there for Chris Scott. Chris Scott meets the ball, meets the player. Ball comes up. Ball comes the way of Keegan Brockman. Keegan gets his kick forward, up the ground, looking up there for Tristan Simpson. Tristan Simpson runs through the pack. Then he goes back across the ground. Plenty of zigzagging between the players today. Goes the way there of Sheldon Nally, Clay Azevedo. Ball spills, goes the way of Hassan Watkins. He goes across the ground, picks out Daniel Leach. Daniel Leach goes forward, and Albie Dean will shoot on goal. Maybe Albie Dean, yes it is, from 15 metres out, directly in front. So Brigades are going to get their second goal of the afternoon. They kicked their first at the 15-minute mark of the third term.
They got their second.
And they're going to get their second now at the 6.5-minute mark, and the player to do it was Albie Dean. So a good goal there to the Hawks. They worked hard. They made something out of nothing. Albie Dean finished it off. Good bit of play in the end. Still the scoreline certainly suits Rovers. And on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard, Rovers are 6 goals 7, and Brigades are 2 goals 9.
Matty Paddock, Glenn Barnden, it ceases to amaze me. We watched a lot of country footy, we watch a lot of AFL footy too, Glenn. Possession game is what they try and build on from the AFL, but sometimes possession game can let you down, Matty and Glenn, when you kick it down the corridor and you've only got that one opportunity and you miss it.
Yeah, I do think that the new rules have sort of opened up the ability for teams who want to play quick, and it certainly has them an advantage. We see that with the Rovers. They almost look to play on at every opportunity, and to date they're undefeated.
Going forward now, and it's Dylan Ralph that sends a nice high kick into the full forward area, and luckily for his side, the forwards weren't able to take the mark. The ball is still hanging there, comes to ground to be a ball up just metres away from their goal. But I suppose what I'm trying to say is when they can go outside with the ball, where there is space, why would you go inside where it's sort of congested? That's sort of something I can never understand. The ball in the middle now goes away of that player again in Dylan Ralph. He gets it to a teammate on the outer side. It's if they still do have it, Brigades, as they send it forward. A couple of quick goals here could change the position of this game, as we see the ball is now with that player in Ned Osborne. He's had a bit of the ball this afternoon, probably equaling up there as one of the best stats getters on the park for his side. So Ned Osborne, he'll have a shot on goal. Now, if he gets this, that puts Brigades in an interesting position. Ned Osborne is a sharp angle. Looks okay off the boot. The umpire doesn't move. That's straight through the middle. And suddenly, Brigades have a bit of a sniff.
Yes, 8 minutes gone. And Ned Osborne gets his first of the afternoon. Looking at the goal scorers now for both sides. Ned Osborne has kicked one, Albie Dean has kicked one, and Hassan Ahmed Watkins has kicked one for the Hawks. And for Rovers, their goal scorers, Jamin Alone has kicked 4, and Farron Parfitt has kicked 2.
So ball back in the middle now. Brigades, they've got their tails up a little bit now, Matt.
Yeah, they certainly do. As I mentioned earlier, they simplified it for themselves. They needed 7 goals and to not give up one. And well, I wouldn't say they're on track, but they're certainly hitting a rate that makes the game interesting.
Well, they're certainly controlling the quarter to this point, that's for sure. I think Rovers need a couple of goals against the grain, but let's see what can happen here. Up into the air it goes, and Tazwell wins the ruck. Going away, Vazavato. What will he do here? He can do something special if he wants to, this fella. That's a beautiful kick. That's straight at down the middle of the ground, but it goes away the defenders for Brigades. But no, you give it to a Rovers player who lost possession on that occasion. I'm talking about Farron Parfitt. His eyes lit up, but he didn't have control of the ball and went through for the minor score. But Azevedo out in the middle, that was something special, Glenn.
Certainly is. He's a class player, and as you say, it'd be good to see him start stringing some very good contributions together. Ball is on half-back with Brigades as we go around the grounds with the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrilly Ward, the member for Geraldton. The big score line out at Railways at the Red Dust Recreation Ground. Railways making a very long day for it for the Mullawa side. Three-quarter time just there, that game. And Railways, 22 goals, 15. Mullawa 1 behind, so it's going to be a very big losing day for Mullawa. They lost the Colts, they lost the reserves, and they're certainly going to lose the league game. Ball still in the forward line for Brigades. Ball running deep in the 50-metre line. Goes away of Keegan Brockman. Keegan puts it on his left boot, shoots towards goal. Ball runs towards the goal line. Goes through for a minor score. And on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard, Brigades go to 1 goal 10. And Rovers, Brigades are 2 goals. 3 goals now. Brigades.
Yep, that's 3
goals.
Yep.
Yeah, a bit hard to see that scoreboard.
I know, that's a very small
Ball 3. Ball goes forward now on a rebound. So it's 44 plays 27. So it's still a pretty tight game. 44 plays 27. Another goal to the Hawks. And they're back in this contest. Ball in the centre. Can Brigades lift and go again? Ball goes forward. Slap forward. Brigades have it through Ralph. Ralph does well, breaks out of the centre, kicks it up towards half forward, goes through a couple of Rovers' hands, but is picked up by the player there in Osborne. Sends it forward, looking for Zazan Watkins. Watkins screws the ball around the corner, and he finds Keegan Brockman. Keegan Brockman is marked, and as I said, another goal puts them right in the contest. So there goes Keegan's kick from point-blank range, screws it around, and Brigades are now 4 goals 10, 36. They trail Rovers 6-8-44, and game on here at Daimler Truck Glenelg Oval. 12 minutes gone in this final term with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants.
Yeah, Rovers are taking their foot off the pedal, that's for sure, Matty Paddock. And, Brigades, conversely, have certainly put their pedal to the metal.
I think we've seen this before throughout the season so far. Rovers have been able to find another gear late just to hold off other teams. We saw it against Towns a few rounds ago.
And Railways.
Yeah, and we're seeing it now. Brigades, they're coming like a freight train at the moment, and doesn't seem to be anything that could stop them. So can Rovers, can they lift?
Yeah, we'll see. We've got 12 and a half minutes gone in this, the final term. Can Rovers answer the challenge? Back in the middle now. Dylan Ralph is certainly impacted, so too has Ned Osborne this afternoon. He's got probably most possessions on the park. The ball coming back out of the middle, and it's Deschamps that gets the ball to a teammate. They do well here, but there he is again. Farron Parfitt, he breaks the shackle. In fact, it's Gabriel Parfitt out of defence into the half-forward area. Alone gets it. He tries to get it to a teammate. That's Tazwell. Tazwell loses possession, but do Rovers have it again? The umpire blows the whistle.
Player
and
not
a free
possession.
kick. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we can see that. And the ball is going to go back to the Brigades player. And, of course, it is Castleton that has the ball on the half-back flank.
Jesse Castleton plays on quickly, but he has to come back. And the umpire says, now you can kick it forward. He kicks it forward, and he's picked out a teammate. That player with the ball is the player there in Caden Dan. Caden on centre wing, outer side. Kicks it up towards half-forward. Pack into the air. Rovers have the hand on it at the moment. Under pressure, ball spills out. Can Brigades get another goal and put the contest right into jeopardy? 10 points the margin in favour of Rovers. Rovers have led all day. Never looked like they were headed, but Brigades have kicked the last 3. In fact, they've kicked the last 4 unanswered. They kicked the last goal of the third quarter and have kicked the first 3 goals of the fourth quarter. Ball goes the way of Caden Dan. Gets a handball forward towards the boundary line. Ball slapped forward. Umpire saying play on, and the umpire will come in and throw it up. Umpire Pratt, and players of both sides, as you'd expect, pretty tired after a pretty intense contest here at Greenock.
There's been a lot of pressure on both sides this afternoon. Can Rovers answer the challenge on the far side, going the way of that player in Owen Dan? He's almost caught in possession again. The umpire says, no, you ran over the boundary. He's tried to do that a couple of times today and believe that he's got possession of the ball. The ball thrown up into the air now. In it comes, going the way now of Osborne. Gets to a teammate, is quickly brought to ground, almost caught in possession. The umpire, the ball spills free. Rovers do the better out of this. Can they break the shackles and get another score on the board into the half-forward area? Player has almost fell in backward of play, but the umpire says nothing in that. AJ Valley comes away, kicks it down the outer side. The mark is taken by Tazewell, pushes his opponent in the back, and a free kick will go the way of Brigades.
Brigades quickly go forward. Got the ball with Daniel Leach. Daniel is 60 metres from goal. Plays on quickly. Kicks it forward. Looking there for Hassan. Hassan Ahmad Watkins close to the boundary line. Ball spills out. Picked up by Jimmy Hagan. Hagan shoots on goal. And Brigades have got another one. Only 6 points in it now. 4 points in it here now here at Greenock Oval on the MB Trade Centre scoreboard. Brigades go to 5 goals, 10-40. Rovers are 6-8-44. 4 points to the margin. Only 16 minutes gone in this final term, with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants.
It's going to be interesting, Matty Paddock, to see if Rovers can answer the challenge, but Brigades certainly have their tails up now, don't they?
Yeah, the momentum well and truly with Brigades. That was a great effort there by Hagan. He started that chain and he's run all the way to the forward line to finish it off. So that's a great bit of effort and a great bit of gut running that his coach would have been looking for.
So we've seen Brigades now kick the last 5 goals unanswered. They kicked the last goal, as I mentioned, in the third quarter, and then they've kicked the next 4 in this final quarter. So Rovers have really stopped after the middle stages of the third term.
They need to do something, and this player's probably the one to do it in Denton, but he loses the possession. They're away again through Ralph, but he's taken off just a little bit too early, and the ball will come back, and it looks like it is going to go the way of Brigades, I should say. And it is with Dylan Ralph. He is in the middle of the ground. So Dylan Ralph, as I said he was being pretty quiet in the game, but he certainly has lifted his head after that and certainly been the mainstay and the architect of what could be a complete and quite impressive turnaround by Brigades this afternoon. Not scoring until the early stages, their first goal of the third term, and now just 4 points behind the unbeaten Rovers so far this season.
Kane Simpson plays on. Short pass goes the way of his teammate out there, and the player is Bursell. Bursell sees the ball turned over, and Brigades go forward again. Goes the way of Keegan Brockman. Keegan Brockman, ball smothered off the boot, picked up by Daniel Leach. Daniel shoots on goal, he's got it a goal. And Brigades are in front for the first time this afternoon. 17 and a half minutes gone, and Brigades have got in front of Rovers, as I mentioned, in a thriller here at Greenock Oval. And Brigades on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard. Brigades are 6-10-40 to Rovers 6-8-44. And a very clever goal there from Daniel Leach.
Well, we saw the Fremantle Dockers do it a couple of weeks ago, Matty Paddock, in the AFL. So it was sort of like you can believe that something like that is achievable, and Brigades certainly do.
Kicking goals in the first half is clearly overrated in the modern game. It's an unbelievable effort here from Brigades to lead, and we're not even in time on yet.
Yeah, Jay Malone's come into the middle, so Rovers pulling out all stops now to try and avert their first defeat of the season. They trail on the scoreboard 44-46, and it is 18 minutes gone in the final term. This will go on a little bit longer than the other terms, Glenn, because we've seen a bit of a score.
Yeah, we've actually seen Brigades add 5 goals in this quarter. Ball on half back. They go out wide, goes the way of Osborne. Gus Osborne marks on centre wing. Gus Osborne kicking towards the airport end for the Hawks. Kicks it forward, looking there for brother Ned. Ball off hands, goes the way now of Rovers. Rovers clear it up through Bo Simpson. He goes up the ground and finds his brother Kane. Kane centres the ball and finds Tom Denton. Tom Denton breaks across the centre, kicks it towards half forward.
Good mark.
But a very solid mark by Hayden Johnson. Hayden Johnson plays on quickly, the JJ Clune medalist. And he's picked out a mark there to Caden Dan with a good kick. Goes with a short pass to Kyle Hams. Kyle Hams goes up the ground, finds Gus Osborne. Gus Osborne, centre wing, kicks the ball forward. Looking up there for a teammate. In goes Brigades. A lot of players fighting for the ball. And the umpire will come in and throw the ball up in the centre of the ground. Dylan Ralph in there fighting. So too was Daniel Leach. So too was Tom Denton. So So plenty of experience from both sides around the ball.
Matty Paddock, good job to pick the Skeeters best on ground this afternoon. So I hope you're thinking of that as we see Dan come out down the wing. That's Caden Dan. He sends it inboard now. And there's Keegan Brockman. In fact, he dives on top of the ball. And Keegan Cross, I'm talking about, and brought to ground, is the Rovers player. And he'll have a free kick. He gives it away now. Rovers certainly stuttering somewhat. Can they answer the challenge in the dying moments of this game? This bloke certainly can. Gee, that's a nice mark. Under pressure. A beautiful mark taken by Jason Daniels. Only eyes for the ball. Can he do something with this? Scott, he's lurking. Hasn't done much today. Can the big fella do it? He's showing the dummy. Is he a little bit too cheeky on this occasion? Check side quick across the face of goal. And a nice mark is taken by Alone right in front of goals.
So Jamin Alone, who's been a superstar today, kicking 4 goals.
Scotty's done not much this afternoon, but that could be a telling passage of play, Glenn.
Well, as they say, small moments, isn't it, in games like this? And that's maybe all he need to do. It looks like he's down in his haunches again, Chris Scott, so he may be still injured.
He's not 100% at the moment.
No, I don't think so. So Jamin Alone, can he get the Demons back in front as we head into the 21st minute of this final quarter? Jamin Alone lining up for goal number 5. Puts it on his left boot. Goal umpire signals all clear. And on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard, Rovers go to 7 goals, 8-50. They lead Brigades 6 goals, 10-46. So interesting, 16 scoring shots to 15. In favour of the Hawks, but Rovers are up.
Matty Paddock, you might be a bit young for this this adage, but there's an old adage that's called "Come of the moment, cometh the man." You might have heard of that before.
I think I've used that in a few articles I've written.
Could Jamin Alone fit that moniker?
Well, certainly. It's it's almost cometh the moment for Chris Scott as well. You know, hasn't been cited today, but had his opportunity there, as you mentioned, and he managed to find Alone. And at the moment, Alone. 5 goals in a low-scoring affair like today. It's a good effort.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. Tazewell knocks it down. Brigades are going to have another bite of the cherry as they send it forward again. Going the way of the young player in Hagan. Gives it away to a teammate there. That teammate is Jasper Cook. Cook onto his boot. There comes the player there in Keegan Cross. Comes across the face of goal, comes off hands and spills over the boundary. Glenn Barton, time ticking away. Nearly 22 minutes gone in the final term. It is Rovers by 2 points in this classic game.
Yes, we've probably got about 2 minutes.
4 points. Is it 2 points?
4 points.
4 points, I apologise.
2 minutes to play, I reckon, and the ball is in the forward 50 for Brigades. Umpires picked out a whistle. He said, I'll throw the ball up again, men. There's about 8 players from each side around the goals. At that end, the ball thrown up by umpire Pratt. Ball goes the way of Hayden Johnson for Brigades. Handballs at forward. Rovers go by hand. Picked up by Rovers defence there. They kick the ball back out. Looking out there for a player. Picked up by Jasper Cook. Cook gets a kick away, but he was slung. And the free kick will go the way of Jasper Cook. And Jasper Cook was slung. There's been a bit of slinging this afternoon.
There is a bit of slinging going on, Glenn.
So the umpire says, Jasper Cook, it's your free kick. And Jasper Cook is 50 metres out from goal. This might be Brigade's last hurrah. They go forward, and he goes with a short pass and finds Daniel Leach. Daniel is still 50 metres from goal. Daniel Leach uses the ball well. There goes his kick, right up towards the teeth of goal. Pack into the air.
Great
and
mark.
A good mark taken by a Rovers player.
Wow.
And that player is Kobe Simpson.
Oh, gee, that could be a defining moment.
Kobe Simpson is marked. Kobe came down after taking the good mark. Had the wind knocked out of him.
23 minutes gone, Glenn.
So
this ticking away.
That could be the mark of the day that saved them. So Kobe goes back. Short pass. And he's picked out Farron Parfitt. Farron Parfitt on half back. Farron goes across the ground, looking out there for Sean Brennan. Finds Brennan. Brennan marks right on the boundary line. Time running out for the Hawks. There goes Brennan's kick. Short pass. And goes the way of Rovers. And a good mark taken there by Jack Eastoff, who was particularly good in the first half. Jack Eastoff, steady player. There goes his kick. Up along the boundary line. Pack into the air. Good mark again by the Rovers side, and it's Tazewell. He plays on quickly, gets it up towards half forward, and once again, a good mark, this time to Daniels. Daniels plays on quickly, kicks it in towards the forward line.
Look at this.
Goes the way of Jamin Alone. Jamin screws the ball around. He's offline on this occasion, 1 point only on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard. Rovers go to 7-9. 51. They lead Brigades 6:10:46. So time is running out for the Hawks. The ball's at the wrong end. Brigades need to go end to end. They need to do it.
You talked about, Glenn, is almost with us.
They need to do it quickly. Waiting on the Brigades player to bring the ball back into play. In fact, it's going to be a boundary throw in deep in the pocket.
It was a bit of a fizzler in the first half. It's turned into a classic here at Greenock Oval this afternoon.
It has. The second half has been all really Brigades. Brigades have kicked some 6 goals in the second half, and Rovers have added 1.
High tackle.
Whistle on play. Umpire said no, give it a me.
Might have ducked his head.
So the ball to be thrown up. So it looks like Rovers are going to hang on, keep their unbeaten record intact, I would say.
Gee, the challenge was thrown out well and truly, wasn't it?
Well, Brigades certainly had their chances. They made something out of nothing and almost got there. Ball goes up in the air. Rovers, Daniels grabs the boot, shoots on goal. He's offline again. So the scoreboard rolls over again for Rovers on the M&B Trade Centre scoreboard.
Daniel's game today, Glenn.
He's a
sort
strong
of a player under duress. He certainly can rise to the challenge.
Rovers are 7-9-51. They lead Brigades 6-10-46, so a 5-point margin in favour of the Rovers side. Brigades go out
coverage
wide
today on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. And there is the siren. Rovers have won a classic here at Daimler Truck Oval here this afternoon. Brigades threw everything out there but the kitchen sink in the final analysis. After kicking just the 1 goal, their first goal in the third term, they rose to take the lead midway through the final term, but Rovers hung on with Jamin alone stepping up to win the game for his beloved Demons. You're listening to Radio Mama. We are the home of GNFL football. You're listening to the GNFL Match of the Day. Thanks to our sponsors, Melissa Price MP and Grant Russell Chartered Accountants on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.